Hi everybody, Alicia Markfort with Expressions by Lish. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States, and today is Thursday, April 23rd, 2026. So every Thursday I go live on my YouTube channel. I do Class to Go, which today is BBQ Master Class to Go. And once a month I also do something that is called Coffee Break and Cards with Lish. But today is all about Class to Go. So if you're here, please give me a little chat. Let me know that you're here. That way I know that everything is working correctly, and then we can chat and I know who's here and we can chit chat while we craft today. Just to be aware, there is storms in the Twin Cities area in Minnesota, and our weather, my weather radio went off just a little while ago, probably about 15 minutes ago. Thank goodness it didn't go off at 2 o'clock because that thing is loud. So it hopefully if it does go off, I will get up and go in the other room. I don't like to turn the weather radio off, but when it goes, so that's why it's on. But if it goes off, I will say just a second and I'll either shut the door or out, because it is like a tornado warning. So let's see, I am just going to give it a few more seconds and let people pop on. If you're here, I would, if you could like or share. Peggy, hi. Are you having bad weather? I was just saying that it's not bad here yet. The weather radio did go off a little bit ago. I think it was like a tornado watch. So fingers crossed that we can get through the live. Are you having bad weather where you're at, Peggy? So let's hope that we can get through this. And yeah, gotta love the weather. It's getting dark here now. It's been getting dark here for a little while now, so I don't know. I heard, for those of you, if you know my husband, you'll understand this, but I could hear Paul talking downstairs to himself, saying that it was raining, and that was probably about 10 minutes ago. So I don't know if it's raining, you know, here now, because I have the curtains closed in my craft room right now. So hi Debbie, how are you? Is it raining out, Debbie? I know Debbie is my neighbor, so oh, hi Lori, good afternoon to you as well. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to switch my very lightly. Okay, very lightly I'll take all the rain we can get. Rain has passed here. Oh, okay. All right, so like I said, it can rain all at once. We need the rain. And I mean, it's Thursday. It can rain all at once, right? Just not on the weekend, but it's supposed to rain this weekend too. Hi Mom, how are you? Okay, I'm gonna switch my camera to my desktop, maybe. Okay, here we go. So today is BBQ Master Class to Go. I had so much fun creating this class. It is a super fun bundle. It is all about grilling, hence the BBQ Master, and it has some great sentiments in it. You're flipping awesome. I love that so much. To the Grill Master, happy birthday, grilling and chilling. And it does have a Father's Day sentiment as well. This is a great bundle for masculine cards or anybody that's the griller in your life. Also, I think it would make awesome summertime barbecue invites. If you're hosting something this summer that requires an invite, I think this would be a great set for that as well. So yeah, excuse me, I still, okay, it's like way past 2 weeks. We're going towards 3 weeks now. I still have a little bit of that cold, whatever virus sticking around. It just will not go away. So I apologize for having to stop to clear my my throat repeatedly. Oh, okay. So as I said, BBQ Master Class to go. When you spend $50 or more in my online store through Sunday, you will receive this card class to go for free as a thank you gift from me. You will need to have the bundle to make these cards, but if there's anything that's not in the bundle, it will be provided for you. So let's take a peek at, oh, and here's the dies for this set too, by the way. It has hamburgers and hot dogs and shrimp and mushrooms to make your shish kebab, tomatoes, pickle, lettuce, onion, ketchup, mustard, any kind of sauce. Has the flame for the grill, obviously has the grill. Super fun. Super, super fun set. So I'm going to set this aside. Okay, so these are the 4 cards we are going to be making today. Aren't they just too cute? Okay, so these are the 4 cards that I will be sharing with you today. If you have any questions at all, please let me know. You can send it in a chat or send me an email, anything at all. If you have any questions, I'd be free, just happy to help. Okay, so let's get started, you guys. And you'll have to let me know what you think about this bundle and what you think about these cards. So this is our first one. This is this card right here. I'm just going to set a couple things aside here. Just making a little space. All right. So in your card kit for card number 1, as always, if there's anything extra that is needed for your class to go, it will be in your first card kit. So this is your 8.5 by 5.5 sheet of basic white cardstock. This is for your pre-stamping guideline. You'll also receive a piece of Poppy Parade that has been cut and scored for you for the card base. A piece of Garden Poetry DSP. I know, this is like a totally different, it's like a flowery DSP, but I just thought it went so perfect for the grilling because of the B side of this DSP. Okay, Peggy, yeah. When should I expect my invitation for grilling dinner? Well, summer's just right around the corner, right? All right, so you'll get the piece of Garden Poetry DSP. You'll receive a piece of basic white cut for you for your mat for your inside of your card. You'll receive a piece of basic black and basic white for stamping. A piece of basic black for a mat and basic white for stamping. You'll receive a piece of, I wonder what this was for. Huh. I wonder if this was meant to go in another kit. Because there's really, oh duh, this is your mat for the front of your card to go with your DSP. Okay, you guys. Yeah. You'll receive a piece of basic black for a mat for your sentiment, and you'll receive this already cut for you. This is a Stylish Shapes banner. This will be for your sentiment. And then these I cut out already from my pre-stamping guideline. I'm going to set those aside so we don't lose them. Okay, let's get rolling here. Yesterday's weather was definitely like it felt like summer. I spent some time outside yesterday, and oh man, it definitely felt like could have had a patio barbecue party for sure. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we are going to take our Poppy Parade card base, and we are going to fold and burnish that so we get a nice crisp edge. And I'm going to do this on the other side so that it lays nice and flat. Then I'm going to take my piece of basic black that I did not know what it was for. And this will be the mat for the front of your card. But for some reason, this is just not lining up. I'm thinking I might have, I should need to take just a hair off of this, just going to take a little bit off. In your kit, it will be correct, I promise. Yes, Peggy, it was super nice out yesterday. It did get hot though. I have to say it did get a little too hot too fast for me. But today it's just so muggy. Ugh. Okay, so I'm going to take the piece of DSP and I'm going to add some seal onto it. And then I'm going to put that on my basic black mat. Just like so. And then we're going to flip that over and we're going to add some seal onto that. And I knew that was going to happen. I just didn't think it would happen that fast that we ran out of seal. But I already have one right here waiting. I'm going to get some of this gunk out of here. Because sometimes if you get that glue in there and it will get stuck if you don't clean that out. And so then your seal's not going to run properly. Okay. Now let's get to business. Okay. I'm going to put some seal on this. You could use liquid glue if you'd like. And we are going to place this on our card front, making sure that we have even margins all the way around. Okay. So we have that. Next, we're going to do our stamping. Now, there is a stamping guideline, but this is certain stamping that doesn't need to be die cut and needs to be done directly with the card. So you'll do that separate from your pre-stamping guideline. I'm going to take first my Tuxedo Black Memento ink, and I'm going to grab my grill. I've already loaded all my blocks already. And we're going to ink this up. I'm going to move this off of my glass mat though because I don't like the noise that it makes. It drives me crazy. Okay, so we're just going to place this right in the center of our basic white mat. Just like that. Okay. And there's our charcoal grill. Do you grill? And if you do you use like, what do you use? Do you use charcoal? Do you use gas? What kind of grilling do you guys do? Okay, so next I'm going to, because I already have my black ink out, I'm going to ink up the sentiment to the Grill Master. And I am going to put this towards the right-hand side of my banner die cut, because some of it is going to be tucked under our grill. And this goes with that. And then next, I'm going to take the kebab stamp. This is the kebab. Isn't that cute? I don't know if you guys can see, but it's super cute. And we're going to take some Poppy Parade and we're going to make our own little background. Propane. Lori has a gas grill. Peggy has a gas grill. We have a gas / charcoal grill. And we did buy it. I'm going to close up this black before I get it everywhere. We did buy it from a neighbor of ours quite a few years ago. And the gas part is nice. And what it does is it lights the charcoal. So that's really nice. And it gives that nice charcoal. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking your longer piece of cardstock, white cardstock, and I am just going to just kind of go like this across my paper just to make my own little background. We're just going to go like that, and we're just going all the way across. So I'm going slanted one way and then slanted the other way. Just like that. Alright. If you'd like, you could just go straight across as well. Or you could just make it, you know, whatever you want. It is your card. Okay. So I am going to clean this off right away because it's Poppy Parade and we will be, I don't know if we're using this again, but I want to get that off right away. Okay. I'm going to close up my Poppy Parade. I don't know what it is about like dark colors and red. It just attracts to my skin. and I get it everywhere. Okay, so I'm going to take some seal and put it on the back of the piece we just stamped. And now this is the same, your black mat is the same length as this. So you just want to put it to the end, all the way to the edge, and then just look that you have even margins on the top and the bottom, and it's 1/8 of an inch. Okay, just gonna go like that, and then we're gonna flip it over and put some more seal on that. And we are going to place this on our card front towards the bottom, not all the way to the bottom. I would say leave about 1 inch to 3/4 of an inch. And that is going to line up with the black mat on your card front. Okay. Then this is a totally optional step, but I do want to show it to you because I did it in a couple different cards. I use the knife tip for my take your pick tool, and I am going to cut a slice into my grill for my flame. Now you could cut your flame down, and I did do that on one card, but I just didn't care for it as well. So whatever healing mat that you have, use. This is a very old one from Stampin' Up. And I am going to take my blade, and I am just going to go on the inside of the grill, and I am just going to make a slice around. You're just going to follow that edge, kind of like where the grates meet the basin part of the grill. Okay, so then that's, and then you have this, I don't know if you can see, but made a nice slice in there. Okay, and I'm going to close this so I don't cut myself and get blood everywhere, right? All right, so now we have that. So now we can, but before I place this on my black mat, I do want to take my Poppy Parade flame, and I am going to place that on the inside. And and I want the flame to be showing, but not all the way. If that makes sense. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that over, and I'm just going to put some seal across it just so it stays in place. And then I'm going to take my seal and put it the rest of the way around so that we can adhere this to our black mat. Isn't that cute? I love that little flame sticking in there like that. Okay, and then I took 2 hot dogs that I did stamp in Cajun Craze, and I am going to add some mini dimensionals to the back, and I am going to cut them. You could use black, you could use white, whatever you'd like. This sheet I've already started cutting on, so I'm just going to use the black ones, and I'm just going to take some mini dimensionals. And this is how I cut mine in half. I just slice right up, and then I just leave them right on the sheet. And we just need 2. I'm gonna put one there and one there. So do you guys like hot dogs on the grill? Hey, Mom, if you're still watching, what way do you like your hot dogs on the grill? All right, so we are gonna take our little hot dogs, and we are going to place them on our grate of our grill, just like that, and just like that. Okay, then I'm going to flip this over and put some dimensionals on it. Very burnt. Yes, burnt. That is like my mom, like it has to be like almost like so black that it turns to charcoal. I mean, I like mine burnt too, but my mom likes her hot dog black. It's kind of the joke. All right. And we're going to take the dimensionals, and we're going to peel those backings off, and we are going to place that to the left side of our card front. And I'm just going to have this one, the first kebab that I put on there. Yeah, I don't know how you could have like a hot dog on the grill and then not like get it black. Why even put it on the grill then, right? Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to take my sentiment banner and I'm just lining it up on this basic black mat because I'm going to cut a banner in there, in there. I'm going to grab my paper scissors here. And actually, I think I'm going to glue it down. Then it will stay in place. So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to leave enough space on the right to make my banner end. And it doesn't matter if it sticks over because you're going to tuck that underneath here. So to do that, I am just going to eyeball the middle and make a cut. Then I'm going to go to the corner and place my scissors, and then I'm just going to cut up to that first cut we made, and then I'm going to flip that over and I'm going to do the same thing again. Just like that. Okay? And this is going to go right here, and we are just going to use seal, and we're going to tuck that right underneath. And you can decide if you want it to go all the way, but I want it to go about this far, and I want my kebabs to show. Now we have our ketchup and our mustard, and I'm going to flip these over and put some dimensionals on those as well. And you can use full dimensionals for this, the minis anyway. And we're just going to peel those backings off. And we got our ketchup bottle, and I'm going to put those at the bottom of where our grill, where the first leg is, and I'm going to put them at an angle. And I'm going to take the mustard and I'm going to slightly place that. And then I'm going to take some dimensionals. How about some embellishments? These are the Moody Palette Glossy Dots, and I'm going to add a couple white to this card. And I'm going to make my triangle with my focal point. I'm going to put one there. I'm going to take a little, and then I'm going to take another big, and we're just going to make our triangle, and that will go there. So there you have it. There's card number one. What do you guys think? I think it's cute. I like how this is just stamped right down, and then the stuff that's popped up on there. I think that's really cool. Okay, so that's card number one. Now let's go to card number two. Now, you know, picking a favorite is kind of like, you know, picking your favorite child, which, by the way, Mom, I know it's me. Oh, girl. Thanks, Peggy. Thanks, Debbie. So, for me, this card is probably my favorite out of all of them, but I'm kind of partial. You know, it's like picking your favorite child. Okay, so this is card number two. And this is what you will receive in your card kit. Let's see, there's some pieces stuck in there. All right. You will receive a piece of basic gray cardstock for your card base, a piece of basic gray for your front mat, a piece of basic white for the inside of your card. You'll receive a piece of basic black, and this is for die cutting your tools that are in your little pouch here. So you will, this is, I used Versamark, so I used silver for my tools on this. Okay, you will receive a piece of, and this one's already cut. This I cut with the Garden Poetry DSP, and I used the largest nested essential dies. So when you receive yours, yours will be a full square rectangle. But I'm going to show you how to cut this today. And then you'll receive a strip, the full strip of this Garden Poetry DSP for your 2 flames that you'll stamp in Poppy Parade. And then the smallest nested essentials die for your sentiment, which is the pocket for your apron. And then here's, I already cut these out, but you'll also receive that I cut out for you. This is from the Stylish Shape Dies. This is using 2 circles die cut together, and this we will cut in half, and this will be for our, you know, the thing that goes over your head, the tie. And then you'll also receive a piece of black thread for the apron. This will also be in your kit. Okay, so let's put this stuff aside, and we don't want to lose our pieces here. Okay, so first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our card base. Well, thanks, Mom. And we are going to fold and burnish our card base, just like so. And we're going to set this aside, and then we're going to take our mat. And for our mat, we are going to make our own background. And I'm just going to clean our grill stamp off from our first card, because I was using black on this, but now I want to stamp it in basic gray. It's pretty much going to look black, but I wanted to stamp color on color for this. So I mean, it's lighter than using the black. Okay, so let's move this out of the way. And I want to put my, I don't like how that clinks on the glass. I don't know why, but I just don't. Okay, it clunks on the desk, but when you put it on the glass, it makes a completely different sound. Now, all I did was, probably need a piece of scrap paper to cover your surface. I just went, well, first I'm going to stamp in the middle. Here, I'll show you. Okay, so the first thing I did was I took the grill and I just went, you know, I'm just eyeballing it. I stamped one of the grills in the middle. Okay, then you're just going to, you know, kind of go around your paper to make it, you know, like you're making your own designer series paper. Okay, and then we're gonna go one right here, just like so. And you can do any pattern you would like. And I'm going to put one here. And then I'm going to just do kind of the top of the grill right there. And then we're going to go another one here. Now, because I started in the middle, I am looking for another piece of scratch paper here. I don't want the bottom of the grill because I have the tops here. I'm going to ink this up again, and I just want a top part of the grill to go on my card, just like that. Okay, so there we have that. And then I did kind of miss some of it. We'll see if we can, I'll probably screw it up, so I'm going to say no, because I think our apron will cover a little bit of that. If you wanted to, you could start at the top, but then I did that the first time. But when I did that, it just seemed like everything was in a line, and I didn't care for that. So the only way around that is to use either masking paper or a Post-it note. I used too thick of a scratch piece of paper to do that. Okay, so then we're going to add some seal to this. And we're going to put this on the front of our card. This is just your basic 5 1/4 by 4. I'm just going to put this and try to get it as even as possible. All right, so let's talk about the apron. Now I knew I really wanted to make a card with an apron because I really wanted to like tuck the tools in, and I loved the flame. I really liked that. So this is obviously a piece of basic white. Yours will be the designer series paper. And what you want to do is you want to make a tick mark on both sides, the left and the right, at 1 1/4 inches. Okay. Then what I did to find the middle is I just bent the top of my rectangle. And I got that little bend in right there. So I know where the center is. You can measure it and do math. This is just way easier for me. And then you're going to take your ruler and a pencil, and then you want an inch. So you're going to place where you made that bend. You're going to take and you're going to put your 1/2 inch mark. And then you're just going to draw a very light line for 1 inch. Because then that way you know how to make your little cuts here and here. Okay, so then the next thing you're going to do is, all I did for mine was I just took my pencil and made a very light line, and I just went like this, just like so. Okay, then you are going to trim this off with your snips. Okay, you're just going to, so there's a little fussy cutting, but it's not much, it's not terrible. Okay, and then we're just going to cut it like that. Then you're going to take the piece that you just cut off, and you are going to flip that around, and this now becomes your template for your other side. And I'm again just taking my pencil, I'm doing a very lightly, and then I'm going to just go ahead and I'm going to cut this side off. So here we made our own apron. So I did this a couple different times just to kind of see which I liked the best, and this is the one that I preferred. So by making that tick mark at 1 1/4 inches on each side, that way you make your first, and then you make the line up here, and then you just take a slight angle and then cut it and then use this. To me, that worked out the best. This is not by far going to be perfect apron die cut because you made it from scratch. So if you have any pencil marks on your designer series paper, you can erase those. And then what I did was I took the flame and I stamped in Versamark and then used black embossing powder. You do not have to do that if you don't like to heat emboss. You can just stamp that in black. And then I took the sentiment and did the same thing. I stamped "You're Flippin' Awesome" in Versamark and then heat embossed with black. Again, you could just use black ink. It looks just fine like that. Okay, and I have already die cut my tools. Those will go in our pocket. Now the other thing that you're going to do for your apron is you're going to take that circle that's in your kit and you're just going to, I just bent it in half and then I just cut it. Lazy crafter. I don't do too much measuring. I just kind of wing it. Okay, so now we have that. I'm going to take my pocket and I'm going to put some dimensionals at the bottom, just 2, because we want to be able to put our tools in there, our grilling tools. Okay, and I'm going to peel that off and I'm going to put that right, I'm going to go towards the bottom, leaving probably about 1/4 inch so that there's space for the tools. Then I'm going to take that half circle and I am going to, we're going to kind of bend it a little bit. And we're just going to take that like so, you're going to have that little bit of loop in there. I'm going to go a little bit higher up. Okay, so I kind of know what I'm looking at here. Then I'm going to take some seal and I'm just going to make two little things here. Well, maybe I'll just go across. Excuse me. Okay, and I am just going to go like that and like that. And if you'd like, you could take your bone folder and kind of go, you know, curl it, because it will be more pliable then. And then we're just going to go like that. Okay, then we are going to turn our apron over again, and I'm just going to take, and I want my ties to be right where the, I don't know, armpit, the bottom of the armpit holes, if you want to call it that. I'm going to run some seal across that, and I'm just going to put that on there like so, because we can mess around with it after we get it on our card. Okay, so there's our apron so far. What do you think? I think it looks like an apron. And then I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back. I always like to put a dimensional where I mean, even though I do have seal there, I still want, you know, a little bit, just some security. Then I'm going to take some minis and I am going to put those over our little tie thing here, just so that we know it stays good and sticky stuck, right? It totally looks like an apron. Thanks, Peggy. All right, let's get these off of here. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this on the front of my card, but I wanted it to go at a slight angle. Just like that. Because we want space for our flames at the bottom. Yeah, it might be a little curved, but yeah, I think I'm going to see if I can, yeah, I can still lift it. And we're going to just go a little less of an angle here. All right. Then I'm going to take my little tools. Aren't those cute? I just love those. They're so cute. And I am going to take some of those minis that I sliced in half before, and I'm just going to put them on our tools wherever I can where there's space, so that they do pop up a slight bit. Okay, I'm going to peel these off. If you have a hard time getting your dimensionals, the backings off, some of it might be that you didn't push your dimensionals down hard enough either, because that's what's happening to me here. I just kind of set them on there. Okay, so the tongs I'm going to put in first. Okay, we're just going to kind of go like that. I'm going to take the little spatula, and that's going to go at an angle. And then our fork, we're going to kind of do a crisscross thing, but underneath in the pocket, just like that. And now this is sticking up a little bit, so I am going to slip a couple minis under there. I just didn't want to put them in the wrong spot. So our tools went in. And then I'm just going to take it and I'm just going to put it right under there, just like that. I'm going to grab another one, and I always, when I'm doing it this way, I tear the dimensional backing off first, and then I put it on my take your pick tool, and then I just go like that, slide that under there. All right, so then we have our flames, because I mean, you're flipping awesome, right? You got to have flames. Okay, and I'm also going to put some dimensionals on our flames. That. And this, for this class to go for this week on my Stamping Circle Facebook page, for our sketch challenge this week, this was my card for this week's sketch challenge. And then I just kind of bent up my flames a little bit. I'm just going to put one there. And I'm going to put one right here. All right. So now I kind of want it. I just didn't want my apron. I suppose you could have tied it. But what I did was I just took some of these glue dots and I just rolled them up. I just rolled it up. It's probably easier just doing your hand. Just roll it up. And then I stuck that on my card, and then I just took my apron tie and just kind of did this thing with it, except for I want this to go this way, like so. I put that over it, and then that way it could go off like that, and then I'm going to trim that off. And I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. Well, thanks, Debbie. Sometimes, you know, you make something and it's like, okay, I know I'm trying to make an apron, but in my head it looks like one because I made it, but does it really look like an apron? Okay, so I rolled up another glue dot, and I'm just going to set that one right about there. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to kind of twist this the way I think it looks kind of funky. And then I'm going to put that on our little rolled up thing, our glue dot, and then I'm going to trim it. So then that way it kind of stays in place and it kind of doesn't just look all willy-nilly, right? And then to embellish that, I used the adhesive backed metallic gems, and I chose to use the silver ones. Okay, I know I just used my take your pick tool. Okay, and I am going to put one here, one big, one little, and another big over here. And there's card number 2. What do you think of the apron? Well, thanks, Lori. So, like I said, the DSP, like this one looks a little bit different because of how the DSP is. So your piece of designer series paper will look similar to this, you know, these two. And then I just stamped the Poppy Parade right on this same DSP, so you get that kind of orange look underneath it. Thanks, Debbie. Okay, card number 3 is this one. I like this one too. I thought this was fun. And I made this as a birthday card. It could be definitely a Father's Day card, or, you know, any other sentiment that you'd like to use. But I thought this made a great birthday card. So you'll receive in card kit number 3, you will receive a piece of crumb cake cardstock that will be cut and scored for you, a piece of basic white for the inside of your card. You'll receive a piece of basic black, and this designer series paper is from the Cute as a Bug designer series paper, and I use the party banners dies, so these are not in the bundle, so these will be cut for you. And then you'll receive a piece of Poppy Parade for your oven mitt, a piece of basic black for your sentiment label, a piece of basic black for the other piece of your sentiment label, and then you'll receive a piece of, well, this is what you'll stamp your label on. And then you'll also, these are from your stamping guideline. Okay, and I'm missing one. There's supposed to be 3. Wonder if it's still in the envelope. Could be. I know I cut them. Yep, there he is. He's in there. I can see him. All right. I'm going to take a sip of some water here. Excuse me. Okay. The only thing is that I already die cut this, but I will stamp this today, and I just stamped that in basic black. Okay, for your flame, you know what? I'm going to show you how I did this. Let me see, where's my flame? So what I did was, this is in Daffodil Delight and Pumpkin Pie. So what I did was, when you're doing this technique, I'm going to use a sponge dauber also. You want to start with your lightest color. And the lightest color for this is Daffodil Delight. So I'm going to get that good and stamped up. And then I'm going to take my Pumpkin Pie. You could use Poppy Parade if you'd like, for a little bit of a darker, but I just chose Pumpkin Pie. You could use Timid Tiger as well. And then I'm just going to take a sponge dauber. I'm going to grab my Pumpkin Pie dauber. And then I am going to ink that up in our Pumpkin Pie. And I'm just going to add some ink so we kind of get that little glowy, darker. And you can go wherever you'd like. I'm going at the tips of my flame, and I'm going to kind of go towards the bottom. Okay? Because that Daffodil Delight has been sitting on there for a little bit, if you want to reactivate that, you're just going to go ahead and huff or breathe on your stamp. Like that. And you're just going to stamp that down. And there you have your orange and yellow flame. Okay? And now this, you will do this on your stamping guideline. I just really like that look. I think that looks so cool. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to set this aside. We're going to grab our card base. We are going to fold and burnish our crumb cake card base. And then we are going to take our party banners. If you don't have, these dies are so awesome. And I suppose now that I'm going to say something, they're probably out of stock. But this is how the party banner dies come. Look how big those are. Aren't those great? And then they come with the dies where you can cut the holes to string up a banner. And then these as well. These are so cool. This, to me, if you're a crafter and if you do any kind of parties or anything like that, I absolutely love this. They're great. I've used these so many times already. And they're also small enough for your cards. If you're a scrapbooker, they're great because they're big enough where you can use them as a background on your scrapbook page. Okay, so here's our plaid, picnic plaid, that I like to call it, from Cute as a Bug. And we're just going to put that right on our basic black banner. And I'm going to add seal to the back, just like that. And this is going to go in the center of our card. Okay, then what your next thing you're going to want to do is, I stamped in Versamark Happy Birthday and then used white embossing powder and heated it. This is, to me, I wanted it kind of look like a sign. I don't know why, but I did. So I'm going to take some dimensionals and I am going to put them, I'm not going to go on the very ends. I'm just going to use 3. That. And like that. Thanks, Peggy. Yeah, it's kind of cool, you know, something different to do. Because some of the flames I just stamped right on basic white in one color. The other one I stamped on the DSP. That made it kind of look a little bit different. And then this was another way to do it. And every time you do it, it's going to look a little bit different. Okay, so now I have my dimensionals. I use black dimensionals. And I am just going to, I'm going to not go all the way to the top to my banner, but I'm just going to go pretty close to the top. And I'm going to go just like that. Okay. Then I stamped in Versamark and did To the Grill Master. Now, this could be perfectly fine like this if you'd like, and just put your oven mitt there. And if you wanted to stamp Happy Birthday here and on the inside of your card, you could stamp To the Grill Master on the inside. But for this, I did it on the front. And all that I did for fussy cutting is I just did straight cuts. You could use your paper trimmer. This just seemed a little bit easier. And I'm just cutting up to I wanted it to look like there was like a hanging sign. I don't know, like when you go to like a barbecue place. That's kind of what I was going for. Okay, so now I'm gonna take and I'm gonna put a dimensional, a big one, towards the top. Okay, then I'm gonna take 2 small ones. And now you can use white dimensionals. I just have black, so I'm using black. And I'm gonna put a mini on this end and one on the other end, and I'm leaving space to put my oven mitt underneath there. So it's kind of like, you know, like they have, if like some places have like a sign and they have like a little emblem hanging down from it. I don't know. That's kind of what I was doing. Okay, I'm gonna take that and I'm just gonna tuck that just like that. Then you'll probably want to, but it's up to you. Some people do it this way. I normally would stamp this first in black, and then I would die cut it. But for time's sake, let's just stamp that. I already die cut my little oven mitt, and then I'm just going to, because it's photopolymer, it's a little bit easier. I'm just going to stamp right over that. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so now it's up to you. You could take and you could go at an angle, you could go straight down, whatever you would like to hang from your sign. I'm just going to use another black dimensional because I have them right here. And then we're going to just tuck that right like so at just a little bit of an angle. Then these are from your pre-stamping guideline. Again, remember how I made that slice in that first card? This one I did not, and I just cut off the bottom of my flame. So if you'd like, you could do it this way and just curve it so it sets on your grill. I kind of liked the look of it being on the inside of my grill, so I'm going to do the same thing with this one. And I'm just going to make that slice, and make sure you're using some type of mat, a healing mat of some sort. I wouldn't cut right on your glass mat or your desktop. Okay, so now we have, again, that nice slice. And then I'm going to just take my flame, and I'm not going to cut it off. I'm just going to stick that under there, just like so. Then I'm going to bend it forward a little bit, and then I'm going to take a mini dimensional and I'm going to place it right on the grill. I'm going to peel that back off, and we're going to just go like that. So we have that right on our grill. And I'm going to take some dimensionals, and again, I always like to go over if I'm adding something that's on the back. I'm going to peel these off, and you know what, I think I could add a mini right there. I'm going to put a little mini right here, and I am going to place this on the left hand side of the banner, just like that. Okay, and now for the tools, I stamped these in gray granite, and then I took my real red colored pencil and I colored the handles of my tools. And then I'm going to flip these over, and again I'm going to put some mini dimensionals on there. For the fork, I'm going to use one of those that I cut in half, and we're going to put those right about here. Okay, I'm going to press those down so I can get the backings off. Okay, and I'm going to start with the spatula. I got the dimensional still stuck to me. And we're going to put one like underneath. And there's a little tiny handle that pokes out from the grill right here. Then I'm going to take that fork and I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to kind of crisscross them a little bit so they look like they're hanging off. Then for this, for the tongs, I took my scissors and I just, you know, there's a slice right here, but I went all the way up. And I just took my scissors and I just cut. Boom. And then, oh, you know what? That's not what I did. I did slice it all the way up, but then I cut it. That's right. I forgot. It's been so long since I made this card. So what I did was I took this, I sliced up the center, and then right where the handle, like what would be like the wood handle, I snipped that off. Just like that. Then I took some liquid glue. I know this is getting a little fussy, but I just really liked how it looked. I'm going to put a little bit of liquid glue on the top part of this handle here. And I am going to put, now this side you can see a distinct piece of the handle. Okay? And I want it to look like it's through the handle. So then I took this and I put a mini on the back of the piece that we cut off, wherever you can find space for it. I'm going to go down lower. And then I'm going to slip this underneath so it looks like it's hanging through the handle. Just like that. So that way it looks like it's hanging off the handle without hanging off the handle. And then for embellishments, I used the Moody Palette Glossy Dots again. And I used the white. And I used them on one on each, two big ones, one on each end for my sign. Like nails, I guess, maybe, for my sign. And that's card number 3. What do you think? All right. Now, I'm going to excuse myself and grab a Kleenex. Like I said, this cold of mine, I don't know. Still got a runny nose, I tell you. All right. Card number 4. Our final card. Doing pretty good. I will always go over time. I just gab way too much. Well, thanks, Peggy. This is a Z-fold card. This is probably one of the easier fun fold cards, I feel. The Z-fold, but still packs a good punch. All right, so let's gray out of our kit. Okay, I think we got parts and pieces for this one. Okay, so in your kit, you will receive a piece of cherry cobbler that will be scored for you for your Z-fold. And we're using basic beige. I don't use basic beige very often, but I just thought this looked really cool with basic beige. So you have a mat for what will be the inside of your card. These are the mats for the front and the middle. And then you'll receive a bunch of 2x2 pieces of cardstock for a hamburger. And the hamburger and ketchup will be on your, and I used the Spotlight on Nature dies because I had to use the paper plate dies. I don't know, you guys, if you can tell. If you've seen these before, you know. To me, they look like a paper plate. So you'll also receive these that were already cut for you. And then you'll have Crumb Cake, Granny Apple Green, Poppy Parade, Daffodil Delight, and Early Espresso to die cut out your burger. This is from your stamping guideline. This is stamped in cherry cobbler. Here's all my pieces that I die cut ahead of time. The tongs I stamped in my guideline in Coastal Cabana. Stamp it whatever color you'd like. Real Red or Poppy Parade, whichever one you'd like. for your ketchup, and I did the same technique on the flame for this one as well. Okay, so first things first, let's make our fun fold. Okay, so this is cut at 4 1/4 by 11, which is a basic card. And then, you know, you score it at 5 1/2 so you have the half. And then you go on your other score line. I think it was 2 3/4. Yeah, it will be in your instructions. And then I'm just going to bend this back like so, fold it back, and then burnish it. And that is how you get a Z fold. And it is called a Z fold because when it stands like this, it kind of looks like a Z. You see the Z? That is how it got its name. All right, I'm just going to give it one more burnish here. So now we have our card base done. And then the next thing we're going to do is stamping. And now I made my own background on here, okay? And what? I think I'll go this way. And I'm going to do, again, color on color, and I'm going to use Basic Beige. Now, Basic Beige was never my favorite color. I didn't like the color of the paper, nor do I like the ink. But for some reason, it has really grown on me, and it has a little bit of a green tinge to it, and I think that's maybe why I didn't really care for it at first. But yeah, Lori, what is it with Basic Beige lately? I just feel like I'm like liking it way more than I ever did when it first came out. I'm not sure why. Yeah, allergy season 2, Lori, does not help. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I need to clean off my oven mitt, because I'm going to use the oven mitt. I'm going to use the flame, so I want to clean my flame. And I'm just using my, sorry, I was doing it off camera. I'm just using my purple chamois. I'm going to clean my flame. And what else did I use? Oh, I used the tools. These were clean. So we have our tongs, our spatula, and our fork. Okay? And I just made a pattern. No rhyme or reason. I know they say you should stay in like a triangle pattern, but whatever way you would like that you think looks good, go for it. So first I'm going to start with my flame, and I am just going to stamp it here, here. Let's see where I did it on here. The top. Like I said, they just say it just you make a triangle. That sometimes makes it look, you know, it's a pattern but not a pattern, I guess you could say. Here, wrong word, compliments. I think it complicates some of the newer DSP envelopes. Oh, compliments. You know, Lori, I think you're right. I was like, complicates. Gotta love autocorrect. Okay, so here we have a triangle here. Okay, and I'm going to kind of go off the page here, or off the paper. I'm going to go a little bit off the paper here. And now I'm just trying to remember that I'm putting other things on here. So you don't want to cover the whole entire thing with flames, unless you want just flames. Okay, so now we have pretty much, I think I should put one down here. Doop. Okay, next we're going to do our oven mitt. And we're going to ink up in that Basic Beige. And again, I am just doing whatever I think looks good. Okay. I love making my own background with stamps. I've always liked doing that. So when I have a chance to do it, I do it. So you'll probably notice in a lot of my cards I design, I try not to do it too often because then it just, people are like, okay, enough already. But I just have always liked doing that. And I kind of flip the oven mitt around so it's going different directions. Like that. That. and the next thing we're going to use are the tools. Now you don't have to use every one of the tools, but I don't know, I thought it looked kind of cool because our sentiment is grillin' and chillin', and this one I thought really would make a great invitation for the barbecue. I just thought with that, you know, grillin' and chillin', I thought this one would make a great invite, this card. Okay. And let's see, did I go anywhere else with that? No, let's move over to our other panel. Here I'm just going to put a little bit on the side. And I'm going to go like this. And you could use, you know, scratch paper underneath. I'm just lazy. I didn't feel like grabbing it. Okay. Got one here. And let's go here. And when you're using basic beige, it you know, any of our colors do this. They're supposed to. They'll tame down. That's not the word I'm looking for, but they'll lighten up. That's the word that I'm looking for. Okay, so now I have the tongs. And again, I am just going wherever I think it needs one. Okay. This is probably, to me, and it's not hard, this probably just takes up the most time. Because you're just stamping, but that's what we like to do, right? That's why we're stampers. Okay. Tongs. Go some here. Okay, one more. We're going to use the flippers, the spatula. Okay, I'm just going to kind of go like that. Let's see, do I need another one on there? Probably not. Go here. And here. And let's go this way. There. Okay. And now we're on our last panel. So do you guys like to make your own stamped backgrounds? Or do you do it very often? Maybe it's something you don't really care for. Okay. And I think we'll just go up here. We don't really have much up here. Alright. Right there. Okay, so now we have our backgrounds. I'm going to put the ink away, our basic beige. And then we are going to put these on our card. Okay, and I'm going to start with the inside, and we're just going to use seal. Peggy, I do, but don't do it enough. I kind of feel like lately I've been doing it a lot. You know, you kind of start doing a technique, and then once you do it, you kind of, because you forgot about it. I do like adding a custom background, but usually go one step too far. Yeah, I hear ya. Okay, and then we're going to put one in the middle. Right like this. And then this is for the front. Sometimes you just have to remember less is more. Alright. So here's our card. Then we're going to take our grill. I'm going to do the same thing that we did in the other ones, and I'm going to make my little slice. Just like I said before, once you do something a certain way, you just kind of get stuck on it, and I really liked my flame in my grill. Kind of gave it that little bit of a 3D look to it. And then I'm going to go like this. And I have to say that this mat right here, it comes in a set, but this is from my cousin Patty. Passed away 3 years ago. It was actually 3 years ago yesterday, I believe. And she loved Stampin' Up. And her husband invited me to come over and pick out some of her stamping stuff. And this is one of those things. So every time I use this, I think of Patty. Patty Evans. All right, so I'm going to stick my flame in there, and I'm just going to take my seal and put that right over it so it stays. And then I got a little punch out. Okay. And then we are going to take our first paper plate and we are going to stamp in cherry cobbler to match our cherry cobbler card base. And we are going to stamp Grillin' and Chillin'. I love how big this sentiment is. I absolutely love that. Okay, we're going to ink this up. And we're going to stamp that in the center of our circle, our paper plate. Okay. Then I'm going to close this because, like I said, it's red. I'll get it everywhere. And I'm going to flip this over, and I'm just going to put seal on this left side here. Okay. I'm going to close this up. I'm going to take this other one, and that is going to be in our middle of our card. Well, it's not going to be exactly middle because I don't want it to you to see it when it's closed. See how when you close it, you don't see that? So I'm going to take my first one and I'm going to place that. This way I know where I'm going to put that one. You don't have to do it this way, but it's easier for me to envision it. Then I'm going to take some dimensionals and put it on the back of my grill. I'm going to go over that slice. I'm going to put one down here in this, what are these called? This is where the little ashes fall down in that little tray there. Okay. Because this is definitely a charcoal grill. It reminds me of the Weber. Okay, and then I'm just going to place this so that the grill is in between Grillin' and Chillin', the G and the C. Then I'm going to take my tongs, and I did the same thing on this. I sliced it up the center. Okay, and then I just cut a piece off. And I did the same thing like I did in the last card. I'm just trying not to cut both of them. All right. So I'm going to put some liquid glue right here. And we're going to, we want it to make it look like it was in there. I'm just going to kind of spread that apart a little bit. Because once it's glued, then you'll know. Then I'm going to take this and I'm going to use liquid glue. And we're just going to stick that right underneath there so it looks like it's through the handle. Okay. There we have that. Now let's put our hamburger together. Okay, so we have our hamburger bun. I'm going to grab my silicone craft mat here. Oh, thanks, Lori. Yeah, you know, whenever I use something of hers, you know, in my craft room, that always makes me think of her. Okay, so here we have, we're going to make a cheeseburger. So here's our hamburger bun. Okay, and we have our hamburger patty. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take my hamburger patty and I'm just going to put some glue right on the edge like that. I'm going to put that on my bun. This hamburger is so cute, and it cuts the little, like, die cuts little sesame seeds in there. Little. Okay, so we have that. Next is our cheese, and our cheese goes like this. So I'm just going to take and I'm going to put some at the edge of the cheese. I'll flip this over. I'm going to go like that. I just love this cheese slice because it really, when you put it together, it really looks like cheese in a burger. Then I'm going to take my lettuce. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put some liquid glue on there. I'm going to line this up like this. Oops, my tomato stuck to me. I'm going to take and put some on my tomato. And we're going to put that like that. Okay. Then I'm going to take my hamburger bun, the top, and I'm going to put some liquid glue, and then we are going to put this like that. So you can see your tomato, you can still see the lettuce, you can see the whole burger. Isn't that cute? I just think that is just too cute. I could have probably slid the tomato in a little bit further. Then I'm going to turn this over and see it looks kind of funky. I'm just going to take and I'm going to put a dimensional over the top of all that. Oh, you know what? For this one, I guess I glued it down. Well, I already have the dimensional on here, so it's up to you. You could use a dimensional or you could glue it right to the plate. And I'm just going to kind of put that at the bottom. Let's put some glue on here. Okay, so now we have to remember where this goes. And it's easier because it's a circle, so it's not like it will be crooked. Okay, now we're going to take our ketchup bottle and we're going to put some glue on the back of that. And we're going to go like this. Then, for the embellishments for this one, I used the earthy matte dots because I wanted to use the cherry cobbler ones to go with my cherry cobbler base. So I'm going to put one here, one here, and let's close that up, and we're going to put one right over here. So there you have it, 4 cards for your card class to go for your BBQ Master. Let's pull the rest of these out. What did you guys think of this class? I don't know, I just really enjoyed this, and it's really hard sometimes to make masculine cards, and I'm not saying that only men grill. I know that because I grill. But this is really a great bundle for that. And those are the cards that we made. What do you guys think? All right, thanks Peggy. Debbie, same. Now I'm hungry for a cheeseburger. Okay, I was wondering, I didn't see Debbie's thing right away. Oh, thanks Debbie. All right, let me flip back to me here. Well, thank you guys so much for joining in today. I truly appreciate it. If you would like, it would really help me out a lot if you like or share this video. That would be really great. Doesn't cost anything at all to like or share it. It just really helps me out a lot. So thank you so much for joining me again. Next week, Thursday, we are using the Cutest Crew bundle. Fingers crossed that it comes in stock. It's supposed to be in stock by April 27th. So you could always, you know, buy the class and then get the kit later, or the bundle later too. So, all right, you guys, as always, this is the highlight of my week. So, all right, thank you. Talk to you guys later. Bye.